Hello and welcome to episode 4
There was a little bit of bowls.
of the Try Hard Entertainment Podcast. Uh,
Hello.
how are you doing, Nathan?
I'm good, John. It was a pretty fast week at work for me. Of course, we were off on Monday, so it was only a 4-day
Oh.
week. It went by pretty quick. Yesterday was in terms of work or production was a pretty slow day, but in terms of time, it went by pretty decently. So all in all, not not a bad week, leaning more towards the good side.
Oh yeah.
So what say you, John? How was your week?
Uh, it was pretty good, but yesterday kind of everything went to crap at the end of the day.
Yeah, I tried. I was trying to make it a point to holler at you before we left, and you seemed to get out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to.
I mean, pretty much everything was going good until, like, at lunch, Bill and Adam came in there. It's like, hey, we need that Draka order before you guys leave today. I was like, all right, that won't be no problem. You know that those go fairly quick on the coils, and then the crane completely decided to start overheating and keep blowing the breaker, and eventually it stopped going up and down. So we basically had to get Justin to flip the breaker again and just move it aside out the way. So now they've got to try to get it fixed before Monday. Hopefully they can get it fixed.
Yeah, he was talking about that before he
And
left. He wanted to try to fix it. Well, Bill asked him if he could do it yesterday, and he was like, "Well, I'd have to shut down the whole day. I gotta flip the breaker."
Yeah.
He was like, "Unless you want me to do it live, that's not a good idea when you're messing with electricity."
No. Especially with him, he came from being like an electrician. Yeah. So he knows.
I actually found out, was it Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, that he used to work with my stepdad. They worked at Moore's together before my stepdad moved on to another job. He's not dead.
Moved on to better places.
And apparently Justin has moved on as well, because he is now working in the same place that we work.
Yeah.
Which is not Moore's.
No. But I mean, I know why he technically left Moore's, but yeah. I don't know if he made the best decision to come in where he did, but because of how things go a lot of times and how pissed off he gets, but but yeah. So Monday is going to be interesting to say the least when we go in at 6 a.m. So I know he said he was going to try to get the guys from the crane company to come in and try to work on it. I think it was most likely going to be sometime this weekend. So
Did you just burp?
no,
Oh,
I was like in mid word.
I heard like a rumbling, and I thought maybe you were burping.
No.
Sorry. I was gonna say you played it off all Joe Cool like. You know what? Never mind.
What?
I was gonna be mad at Biscuit because he didn't say hi to me, but then he did.
Hey,
What's
Biscuit,
up,
how's it
Biscuit?
going?
I was about to get salty.
Feel left out.
All right, so is now hosting you. Oh, hey, look at that.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
So, John,
Really appreciate it.
as you know, and as Joe knows, but as no one else knows, we did an unreleased episode where we talked about games that we started with, like what kind of got us into to gaming, and it seemed like a good topic. It seemed like a good show. I think we enjoyed talking about it, reminiscing, and stuff like that. So that is what we decided to do today.
Yeah,
Was kind of, we're going to talk about that, but this is going to be released.
that's right.
Unlike the one we did with Joe. So that's going to be a thing that we get into. We'll probably dabble in sports a little bit with this Antonio Brown news and what it means for John's fantasy team.
Oh yeah, well
It's
definitely.
probably not good. He's probably going to lose.
Oh, I probably hurt my chances more now, but yeah.
I think Robbie Anderson's a good that's a good replacement. I think that might work out for you.
Hopefully.
I'm pretty big on Sam Darnold this year, the Jets quarterback. So I like it. I feel good about it. I think I have Robbie Anderson on one of my teams. I need to stop doing so many teams.
What, teams or leagues?
Well, same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 3 different ones, and I don't know. I only wanted to do 2, and then the third one, it was like, hey man, we're trying to fill out this league. So then I did it, and I wish I wouldn't have. It's only an 8-team league. Everybody's stacked. I'm about to just not even pay. Like, my team's really good. Obviously, everybody's is, but I'm probably just not even going to pay attention to that one. I might like try to delete it.
So with that league, did you was that the one that somebody like backed out the morning
No,
of?
that was my league.
So what do y'all have, like 9 players? Like, well, 9
No,
people.
we have, it was 10, and then what? No, we have oh, I was only worried for a second, Biscuit. A long second, but it was only a second. So yeah, it was a 10-team league, and then we had a person drop out. The draft was going to be at noon on that particular day, and I got a text message from one of the guys at like 8 or 8:30 in the morning, something like that, telling me that he couldn't do it. And oh man. I mean, this thing was planned for like weeks. Like a month and a half, something like that. And then the dude wants to tell me the day of that he's not going to make it. I was highly upset. But then I was able to scramble, and with the help of another guy in the league, he got one of his friends to join like last minute, so it worked out. And we had 10 people, 10-team league. The one I'm looking to like not care about is the free league. I didn't pay any money. It's just we're just playing for fun, and that's the one that's everybody's stacked, and I just really don't care about it.
But, so with the one that dropped out, did you like have somebody else back out to make it even, or is it just an uneven?
No, well he dropped out to make it 9 people.
Yeah,
and then my buddy that's in the league got his friend to join to make it back to 10. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because I would have joined, but
I was gonna figure something out, like. Yeah, but we had a group message, and I said something in the group message. The guy like texted me individually, or something. Did he? No, I think he actually messaged in the group message about it. Mm-hmm. And I think my response to him was, "Jesus," and that was it. But he could tell I was frustrated. That was the point. But yeah. So then like another guy that. My buddy, aforementioned buddy, kind of immediately was like, I may have somebody. So it didn't really take me long to get it filled out. It worked out pretty well. But it's a headache. I might not even do my league next year. I'll probably just do my buddies. And then that might be it. Maybe one at work. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that made me wonder when that happened. That was kind of messed up.
Oh, it's annoying. And then, I mean, like, you're calling. I don't know if we touched on this last week. I think we did a little bit of fantasy football, or maybe episode 2. I don't know.
No, we did it last week too, a little bit, briefly.
But like, you're scrambling because you've only got like a 3-week window to do it. Nobody really wants to do it early in the preseason because you kind of want to get some injuries and like cuts and stuff like out of the way. So you want to do it kind of towards the end. And although according to Twitter, that's the way that like losers do it. Like, the professionals do it like way early, because then you're doing your research. I don't know, but I don't care about that. Just stuff I was reading on Twitter, but on the Twitter sphere.
But I mean, like the projected points and stuff is not a guarantee, which I found out because
Oh no, that's the
obviously
whole
being,
point of projected.
but because obviously it being my first time doing fantasy football league, and I had one player that played Thursday night, and he was supposed to like he was projected like 13 some odd points I think originally, and he
And he
only
got
got like
4.
4.40.
I got the same player,
Oh, so Green Bay,
Aaron Jones.
yeah,
I had
Aaron
him
Jones.
and Devontae Adams, and combined they got me 11 points. So I'm gonna lose week 1. That's fun.
Yeah, well, as of right now, I only have 4.40, and there's a lot of players playing on Sunday, and then one player playing on Monday, and the same with the guy at work that I'm going up against this week, which technically started on Thursday, so I'm already off to a bad start on that matchup.
Well, he might be all right.
Hopefully,
Maybe he'll have some misfortune. One of your players will bail you out. That's what I'm hoping happens. Somebody needs to go slam off.
that's what I'm hoping because he's got Ezekiel Elliott, and he put him in the starting lineup because he originally had him on the injury reserve because of the whole thing with him. So he was considered out. So now he's back in it, which I knew he'd put him in. So now I can only hope that he plays like crap and a few of his other players plays like crap, and the guys that I have play phenomenally.
It's a crazy game. Like the bad Thursdays can happen, and then your team can just go off on the weekend, and then you're good to go. I've been on the losing end of those. I'll see like Devontae Adams this week, 7 points. Like that's like a top tier player. You want to see him around like 15, like every week, and but like no less than 50. I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. He didn't get under 16 points in any game or something crazy like that. But yeah, so like that's what you want to see. You want to see that like 15 range, and for him to get 7, it was a bummer. But like I've been on the other end of that where an opponent has had a terrible start, and then I'm like, man, I got this in the bag, and then they'll have somebody go off for like 31 points or something, and I end up losing. So you never know.
Yeah.
But John he was messaging me Thursday, asking me questions about fantasy football. Because Aaron Jones is kind of weak game. John was like, I don't get it. My projected points keep going down. I was like, well, yeah, because he's struggling right now. But you know, if all he needs is to score a touchdown or something, your projected points are going to shoot right back up. But
which never did happen.
Yeah,
but the messed up thing is, because I was watching it because of that, which I didn't even know you had him on yours as well. But like their own quarterback said, they have a defense, but they need to work on their offense.
Yeah, that was they got a new coach, Matt LaFleur, and that was like a talking point going into the season because their previous coach, Mike McCarthy, his offense was just kind of stagnant, not really creative. It just depended a whole lot on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
and so they were hoping that Matt LaFleur would bring in like a more creative like play design and play calling, and from what we saw Thursday, it wasn't a good start. It was again, let's just depend on Aaron Rodgers. But like it seemed like they put more of an emphasis on running the ball for the Packers, although it didn't work out. They needed to stop putting Jamal Williams in the game. Aaron Jones is your best back, man. Just let him do it. Stop taking him out.
And then one of the plays they did, they should have thrown it, but they ran it instead. So, and he ran right into the group. And
that game was that was a clusterfuck.
They did make a good
ugly game.
They did make a good interception though that almost led to a touchdown to their the other team. Had they not intercepted that was towards the end of the game.
Oh yeah. Trubisky threw that pick in the corner of the end zone.
Yep, it was almost a touchdown, but they managed to get that interception, which helped them stay ahead because that would have easily tied it up and sent it into overtime. But yeah.
So Joe just texted me. Said his mom and dad and Jerry and Vic and Amber and all sorts of folks are coming. So he asked me if I was still coming. I told him, yes, sir. So, John, are you going?
I'm gonna try to. I don't even think I've been to Apocalypse Ale before.
For anyone, which is probably just everyone that listens. I mean, we're not national, but
Well,
so for the ones listening, that are local, that are Lynchburg, Virginia area, Apocalypse Ale. It's out in Forest somewhere. I mean, I know where it's at, but I don't know which street it's on. But 7:00. A full album cover. I don't know how you'd phrase that, of Californication.
Yeah.
Is being done by the Ruckus.
Local band.
Yes, local band. And our good best buddy Joe is in said band.
Yep.
So that's where I will be tonight. And this is my bit of free advertising for the Ruckus. Go check them out. 7:00. P to the M at Apocalypse Ale. Thank you. Good night.
Good luck.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
But yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen them in quite some time. I don't really know like when they play or where they play because it's kind of like I don't
They
really
don't
get notifications about it anymore.
Well, you're not on Facebook much, are you?
Not too often. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get more back into it.
That's how I know, because they always create like a event,
Yeah.
and I always get invited to it.
Plus another thing is,
But it's always for Saturdays. I mean, not Saturdays, Fridays, and I
Mhm.
can't do. I'm working Friday nights, so
I mean, like most times, I don't even get invited to it most of the times. So
I'll invite you, John. I'm inviting you now, and you're over here like, I don't know.
that's why most of the time, like I don't even know about them.
Well, you've known about this one. We talked about it last week,
Yeah.
so no excuses. Gotta show your love.
Yeah.
So when I was talking earlier, I said like the video game thing and then maybe some football. We went out of order. We went right into football,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with.
But since we were already on the topic, because you kind of veered, I think you wanted to talk more about the football. But
I can't stay on topic for shit. It's that ADD.
But since we were already on the topic of like fantasy football and whatnot, and football in general, you want to go ahead and talk about it?
Talk about what?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. He's a
And
free agent.
He pushed to make himself a free agent. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
So I know like people that have been following it already know, but the dude had 30 million, well, just under $30 million in guaranteed money.
29.
Now
maybe?
there was language in the contract where the Raiders could void it if he faced like disciplinary action, and that's pretty much all that he's been doing during the preseason. Like he's been fined a few times, and
Didn't
and
he
yeah,
miss
so-
practice too?
Yeah, well, yeah, he's missed like team meetings and practices,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, so he's been hit with fines, and then he got into a like face-to-face verbal and almost physical altercation with his general manager, Mike Mayock. And apparently, I mean, I'm not, he used, could you call it a racial slur towards white people? That doesn't, I don't know.
I wouldn't say it,
But he called him a saltine, and and yeah, so that's how that went. But apparently he had to be held back, of all people, by Vontaze Burfict, who is considered by many one of the dirtiest players in the league. But he's the one that had to hold Antonio Brown back from the saltine that is Mike Mayock. But I don't know. It apparently got crazy. And so from that, they fined him like $200,000. And with that fine, they then voided his guaranteed money. And when AB found out about that, he basically said, "Release me. I'm not going to play for you guys." And it was literally an hour later he was released or something. It was really quick.
Well, I think to backtrack too, though, it was kind of like I think yesterday he released a video
Yeah.
apologizing or whatever and coming to like mutual agreement with the team or whatever and everybody.
Yeah, so he went in a team meeting and apologized, and it was described as emotional. Lasers.
Lasers.
It was described as like emotional, and then he gets in front of like the press and stuff at like a press conference and apologizes to I guess the fans and whatever. And then like right after that, he gets a private phone call from the head coach, John Gruden, and he freaking records it and makes a YouTube video out of it. And in the video, like, I think my favorite part of it was when John Gruden just basically told him, "Stop with all this shit, man. Play football. You're a football player."
Yeah, and then after all that,
And then he immediately proceeded with all that shit and didn't stop. All right, sorry, go ahead, John.
yeah, and all the BS that was going on, and it got cleared up. Then it was rumored to be that he was going to be playing in Monday's game, and then yesterday it was confirmed that he's going to be playing in Monday's game. So,
Yep.
Since he's on my fantasy football league, I was about ready to switch him out and put him on the starting lineup. And then all the stuff happened yesterday evening and last night, and then this morning too, about him saying how I forgot what all it was quoted that he said, and then he was saying basically this morning, I think what is it, Instagram post or Twitter post, something like that, saying to release at Raiders, release me or something.
Me, and then he tagged him.
Yeah, and then a few hours later, it had been announced that he had been let go. Then they had apparently tweeted out that they had relieved him of his spot on the team.
Mm-hmm.
That they let him go. I'm just like, well, his projected points is back to 0 now. After they went back up when he was confirmed to be playing on Monday, and now he's no longer with the team. So
it was it felt like in a span of like 48 or 72 hours.
Yeah,
he went from possibly getting suspended and then losing his guaranteed money,
along with being fined,
to then apologizing and being told, and then it being announced that he would start in their Monday night game, and then turn right around, voided his guaranteed money. He asked for a release, and he was released. Like, yeah. I've been following football probably closely since I was maybe like 13 or something like that. So like 15 plus years.
But that just...
And I've never, I don't remember a story. Like, there's been crazier stories. Like, we had a kind of top end, tight end shoot somebody in the back of the head. So, and then he killed himself in jail. But, there's been some crazy stories. But this one's just, I don't know, it's just so weird. The way that everything played out, just odd.
And, I mean, he had, not even played his first game with the Raiders, I think?
That's correct.
And he was doing all of this and basically begging to be released from the team.
That's another thing is if he had played week 1, then because he's a veteran and with the way that the collective bargaining agreement works is because he has that veteran status, if he was on the active roster week 1, he was guaranteed over $14 million, which is his salary for that season, just to be on the active roster week 1, and they took care of that. But he's apparently filing a grievance, and if he wins the grievance, then it's really going to hurt the Steelers and the Raiders cap space. It's going to give them a lot of dead money. But yeah, the whole thing, it's just nuts, man. It was so entertaining to follow.
Yeah.
And now it hasn't reached its end point yet, but it's starting to wind down. Now they got like these, I guess, like legal stuff that they're gonna go through, and yeah. But I think most of the fun is now behind us, which is kind of a bummer. But then we can get back to football.
Yeah, but I mean, it just it disappoints me because now I'm stuck with a player that is inactive or coach's decision or not on roster. Is how he's labeled as now, and I still cannot cut him to try to get somebody else in there. So I'm stuck with like dead weight of a player on the team that's on my bench players, and I can't do anything about him.
I think if he, I don't know, they'll probably come in and change that.
Well, he'd have to be picked up on a team. Well, oh, you mean
change it
about
to where you can't drop him? Because I know like the kind of top players they do that with. They make it where you can't drop them because, you know, that could lead to like cheating and stuff. It's like, hey, drop this player so I can, you know, be the first one to pick him up. So yeah, so the higher scoring players, like year after year, they put it to where you can't drop them. One of them is Melvin Gordon, and I have him in 2 of my leagues. Got him kind of like later in the draft. Went ahead and took a chance on him because he's, you know, he's one of that upper echelon of like running backs, but he's holding out right now. He wants a contract extension. He wants more money.
All about that money.
Yeah, so he fell, and the whole thing was that he's, you know, everybody pretty much knew he wasn't going to start the season. He could come back at some point in the season, but given his abilities and his talent, I went ahead and picked him up kind of late, but I can't drop him. So he could be somebody that doesn't play half the season, doesn't play at all this season, and I can't drop him.
Yeah. Then you're just stuck with the dead weight of a wide receiver that you can't do anything about him, but just leave him as a bench player.
Yeah. But for me, on the flip side of it, like, it's worth the risk because maybe he'll come back. For you with AB, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, if he ends up going somewhere else, then, you know, it might all work out.
It would have to be quick, like within the next few weeks. I mean, because it's like what is it, like 15 weeks? I think.
What the?
For the fantasy?
Yeah, it depends on how you have it set up. You can. Oh gosh, it can be different for every league. Normally the championship game
16 weeks technically, like.
Yeah, championship games normally in week 16. Sometimes in 15. If any league goes to week 17, then that's retarded. You shouldn't do that.
It doesn't even show me.
I don't know why. I yawn so much. I'm a chronic yawner.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. That's why. Okay.
I'll be at work talking
all right
to the boss man and just yawn right in his face. I can't help it.
Week 15
it's
is
boring. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Like week 15.
Don't watch this, Bill.
Yeah. What? No, week 15 is supposed to be the semifinal, and then week 16 is supposed to be the final.
Yeah, that's the way that most of them are set up. That's how mine's set up. I mean, you might get him back. Let's see. I'm kind of looking forward to AB signing for, well, in NFL terms, for like pennies.
Yeah.
Although it's actually going to be like millions of dollars, but still.
Yeah.
But I want to see him go somewhere, make like we'll make very little money and keep playing because like he's one of the best receivers in the league. He's just kind of. But a cool thing, a funny thing I saw on Twitter via Sam Monson, on Pro Football Focus, says Sam Monson. He said that with the fines and stuff, the Raiders didn't pay AB a dime, but he got about $300,000 in fines. So
he's done nothing but lost.
He could have got like $30 million guaranteed, $14 million salary for the first season. He could have been looking at like $43 to $44 million.
You said what?
And instead, he paid $300,000.
And you said what? The 14 mil a week?
No, 14 mil for the year. But you get paid like week by week. Yeah. Or what? But then they voided like all of that or something, and then told him that they would pay him like week to week, and that's when he said to just release him. He won't play in that. Gator don't play that.
That's what, two. That'd be about 2 years then. I guess
What?
for the 29 mil, roughly. Wait, no, it ain't. Sure, I did that wrong. No, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Like about 2 years, it'd be roughly about like 28, I guess. If it was being paid a 14 mil a year, 2 years it'd be about a 28.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, it was probably
But then you said they'd
like
be
a
paying.
front-loaded contract or something, so it might have gotten less as the years went on. I don't know. I don't know how the contract worked out. I just know like what I'm seeing now with all of this drama going on. That he just left a lot of money on the table.
And calls more fees for him to have to pay. My God.
Yep. So tens of millions of dollars he like blew. He just ruined it. And in turn he had to pay $300,000. It's an interesting stat. Could you imagine just having that money to play with?
That is crazy. I mean, and you're being paid 14 million a year.
Yeah.
And your contract
the,
is
the 30 million guaranteed. Like, if you told me, stay off social media, like whatever, do all these things, we'll pay you like $30 million. I'll be like, bet, and break my phone right in front of your face. I mean, it's a lot of money. I'll take that 30 million and not do shit the rest of my life.
He's just secluded to a cabin in the woods with nothing for.
I'd invest, probably in some subways. Eat fresh.
Stock market.
But that's I mean, it's just I would do pretty much anything if you guaranteed me like $30 million. So, but I don't know. I guess if you got it like that, and then you can sit there and scoff at 30 million, then more power to you.
I mean, what was he making with his last team? Since he hadn't even played yet
I don't know.
with the Raiders and hadn't even played the first. He hadn't played the first game, and from what you were saying, he hadn't even been paid yet from the Raiders. So it's just like, why sign the contract, agree to it, and everything, and then not even before the first game you're begging to be released from them.
So in February 2017, AB signed a 5-year extension when he was still with the Steelers that would have carried him through 2021. Or a 5-year contract. It was a 4-year extension. It was $68 million, $19 million guaranteed at signing, and at that time made him the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL.
That is insane. And depending on how much money I'm sure he's got money, so.
Yeah, well, that says 19 million, like guaranteed at signing, so that's a lot of money. But speaking of that, Julio Jones, another. I mean, you can kind of like flip a coin to decide, like, who's better on the field or whatever, but he signed an extension today, and that gave him 64 million guaranteed at signing.
I heard about that.
The extension as a whole was 66, but he gets 64 of it guaranteed, which is crazy. It's turning into NBA contracts, and I'm for it, man. I'm one of the people that's like for the players type deal.
Isn't he supposed to be considered like one of the highest paid players in the NFL?
Who's that?
The one you're talking about? That was gonna be making like 60
Julio Jones. That's the most guaranteed money that a non-quarterback has received. I think that's what I read. So, pretty sure that's what I read.
Because I think it was this morning.
Or maybe it's like the percentage of his. I don't know. I have to look at it.
I saw a notification this morning about it, saying how he was going to be like the highest paid. I don't remember what position he was, wide receiver, running back, whatnot. But of that position, he was going to be like the highest paid, which is insane.
And who is this?
I believe it's who you were talking about just now.
Oh, Julio?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 3-year extension, 66 million, 64 of it guaranteed. Okay, yeah, it was a percentage. So Adam Schefter tweeted that Julio's 3-year extension, 97% of the deal was guaranteed at signing. The previous high guarantee for a non-quarterback was Trey Flowers at 74%. So yeah, that's what it was. It was the percentage. 97% of his contract was guaranteed. But it's becoming NBA, and I'm all for it. And NBA has basically like fully guaranteed contracts, and that's what the NFL is becoming. And I'm for it. I also think that if that happens, they could like drastically change the rules in the NFL with how contracts work. Like something I was kind of reading about on Twitter was taking quarterbacks off of the salary cap, since they take such a large chunk anyway.
Yeah.
So you remove them, you can pay them whatever, and it doesn't affect your salary cap. That would be nuts. And then Dak Prescott would definitely get paid if that was the case. But then, like, like that would set the mark, man. I don't know. It'd be crazy. That could potentially set the market like so high. Because I don't know how they do it. I don't know if it'd just kind of be its own separate thing where you can't go over a certain limit. I don't know. But Jerry Jones is, if not the richest, he is definitely one of the richest owners in the NFL. So if you play quarterback for his team, you know, you could make a lot more money than if you were playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or something. One of the teams that just don't make as much money.
Like the Cowboys.
It is the richest franchise, sports franchise in the entire world. That includes like the soccer clubs over in Europe, like all of that. It is the richest sports franchise on the planet. Who's a businessman? Not a good GM, but he's a good businessman. Knows what he's doing. Gets money. Money.
That is crazy, though. Golly. But yeah, hopefully they'll work out something with Antonio, because that's disappointing.
For you.
Yeah, and anybody else who has him.
I tried doing a trade with one of my buddies, and I don't know if it's in his league or my league, but yeah, tried doing a trade because with this whole AB thing, he needs receivers, but he wouldn't go for it.
Yeah.
Tried offering him 2 receivers for Dalvin Cook, and he wouldn't take it. So I said, "Fuck you, buddy. I think I need you."
This started sounding like South Park.
Fuck you, buddy.
Fuck you, guy. What's up, guy? Yeah. Don't call me guy, pal.
I'm not your pal, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, but
I shouldn't have moved my chair. I was in a good spot. I'm gonna start rolling again.
One thing I meant to bring up one time before, one of the previous episodes of the podcast. Did you hear? This goes back to the music related portion of it. Did you hear about Phase 2?
Closing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard that
I was actually going to talk about that back on the podcast when Joe was a part of it, but I never got to.
I thought you were going to offer me, like, I thought you wanted to go in on buying Phase 2 together.
I ain't got nothing. Somebody,
I'm pretty sure we can swindle a bank. Give me this loan. My credit score is 540.
It's
I'm good for it.
we'll give you a portion of the proceeds if you help us get us this loan so we can purchase phase 2
Exactly.
from the owners,
We'll
which
cut
is
you in 3% off the top.
which they want like what I think 500,000 something like that for it.
No idea.
It was something like that. It's been a while since I saw that article, but it was crazy. I'd rather see somebody take it, like buy it out and keep it going, than it just be nothing happened to it and it just sits there. And then one of our biggest local concert venues just is no more. It's disappointing. But I understand why they want to close it down. I mean, they're older, they want to retire, so they'd rather see somebody buy it and keep running it and do their thing with it than it just be shut down and that's that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, but I think you pretty much answered it just now. But like what I read was that the owners just kind of they just wanted out of it.
Yeah,
It was it wasn't failing or anything like that. They just
like they're doing good. They want out of it because they want to retire and they just want to basically pass it on to somebody. But I think it's one of them is trying to sell it, so therefore they could just basically pass it over to somebody else and it just not basically just be shut down.
yeah.
So they're trying. It was like 200, so 500,000 or something like that.
Let's buy it. I've got collateral. How much do kids go for? You laugh. But I'm not kidding. I've got 2 little pieces of
That's crazy.
But no, let's buy it, right? And then we're gonna have Ruckus headline every week. That's gonna be the thing. Every week it's just gonna be Ruckus. I'm gonna pitch that idea to Joe later tonight and Casey. But hey, me and John gonna buy phase 2. You guys are headlining every weekend.
You're the house band.
Yep. It's a good business model. I think we'll be successful. Especially if they switch it up, like, play Californication one week. Alright, do some originals. And then now do a Lil Wayne CD.
Oh god.
Couldn't even think of a Lil Wayne. Well, the Carter.
Which Carter?
1, 2, 3, 4. Off the top of my head, I could not think of a Lil Wayne CD, and that was kind of shitty.
All of them.
Yeah, they're all the same. It's the Carter, followed by a number.
Gosh. Never been a fan of him. Meh.
I liked him. Like several years ago, I was into him. Fireman, fire for fireman. You know that one? That was a good one. I like that one.
And then he wants to go all gangster.
Well, he's always been gangster, John.
Like the time he got arrested for pulling a gun out in the tour bus, trying to be all like hardcore and.
You gotta strike fear. You never use that move on your wife or anything? Just pulled a gun out? I'm the man of the house!
Yeah. You ever seen that show?
I doubt you have done that because
No.
you had to hang a flag up today. For it is autumn. Or it's about to be autumn.
Towards the end of
and
this
you
month,
were
yeah.
the one out there putting the flag up. And then Fran came outside. John apparently put it on backwards. Well, no, didn't you put it on the right way? But Fran thought you put it on backwards. And since women are always right,
Or something of that nature. But yeah.
you had to come
Flip it around.
trying to flip it around. Yeah.
But yeah.
She doesn't watch these, does she? I really hope your wife doesn't support you. Because then she'll hear me talking shit about her.
Or what about your girlfriend? Christine? Or Christina, whatever her name
Christina.
is. Yeah. Oh, we had shots fired at you on Twitter,
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. I say you saw it.
Yeah, I saw that.
How sometimes you'll start games and then you'll never see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like you started Red Dead Redemption 2 and then you started Spider-Man and then you started the Division 2.
Well, no, I beat the Division. Well, I beat the first part.
You got to the end game, you got to
Yeah.
tier 2 and then that's where it was left off.
Black Tusk were too much for me. Couldn't take them anymore.
Poor Mike is still tier 1.
I do feel
tier
like
1.
I chose the wrong class though. Kind of wish I hadn't gone sniper, which you can change it, but now I've been spent points on the sniper class and I don't know, the gun, I was hoping it'd be more OP than it is. I think it's like not enough OP. It's just P. It needs to be OP.
I have not played that game in a while. In a good while. I need to.
Well, now they're on the topic of video games. Johnny boy!
Which, we ought to play some Division 2 again sometime.
Oh, we will!
And, yeah. Last time we live streamed it, he was at his house and I was at mine. We were live streaming it, playing the Division 2. I think Mike kept having issues. Was it his PlayStation or just his game in general that kept messing up?
It was probably a user error.
Because, I mean, he was the only one that was having problems and having glitches. So if not, there's an opener back there.
I got it. It's just hard.
That's so weird when nobody can see you.
Ah! Does not smell good. I'm gonna try it. Oh, fuck. That's awful. Oh.
Oh my gosh. That is so great.
Wicked Weed Funkatorium. Fermented with peaches.
Oh my gosh. Your reaction.
Do you want
priceless.
this?
No, I don't.
Well, this is a wasted beer, John. That is terrible. Ugh. Should have known from the smell.
I don't know.
John, tell the people about. That was loud. Tell the people about what got you into video games. You know, what your early days playing the gameages. What got you in?
Like, what did I play, or what got me into it?
God. Both.
All
yeah,
right.
go with like the first games. I don't really remember the very first game I played was on like Sega Genesis, but
Right.
I don't really count that because I wasn't really into it. I just kind of did it from time to time. But then when I really got into games, it was something different. So anyway, I'm gonna skip the Sega Genesis when I talk. But
Wow.
Is there a burp button? Do we have a burp button?
No.
Oh, you need to get one of those.
I wish I had a Go XLR. It's like, what the beep? That would be great. Just have a bleep button.
It would be nice. All right.
But
so,
what got me into video games is just it's just basic.
try another one.
Wow. Playing Russian roulette
Oh, this is gonna work.
with beer and a freaking gnat.
The gnat's back.
Apparently.
That's not good.
Basically just I always had a active imagination, which I still do, even as an adult. just video games allow you to escape reality and be in a world that you can't always live in. Apparently that was better.
It's just a good old fashioned IPA, man. So much better than peach shit. It tasted like sour peaches.
Peach schnapps.
Like sour schnapps. Like the sour peach rings, like the candy you get. It was like that.
Yeah.
But just liquefied into a beer.
Oh my god.
It's awful. I wish you would just taste it. Just let it bathe on your tongue.
But like I originally started out with like Sega Genesis. I played Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, stuff like that. Primarily like with friends, like at their houses and stuff, because I didn't have a like Nintendo 64 or Super Nintendo and stuff like that, but I grew up playing them, especially like the 007 game and Star Fox on Nintendo 64. Classics. Especially the old school 007 with the golden gun. But went from like Sega Genesis to PlayStation 1. I then went from PlayStation 1 to originally wanting a PS2, PlayStation 2. But apparently that was the year, I believe, when the original Xbox and PlayStation 2 originally came out. So therefore, it's like everywhere was sold out of the PlayStation 2. So I ended up getting an Xbox that year.
2001?
Something like that, I believe.
Good times.
So I ended up getting an Xbox instead of PlayStation 2 that year, Christmas. And that's what got me into like the Halo series and the Gears of War series, because those were exclusive to Xbox. Which, duly noted, if you haven't played Gears 5, you really should. It's a great game. I started playing it last night on stream. But then from the original Xbox, I guess I kind of stayed on Xbox at that point, because I went from the original Xbox to Xbox 360. So that's when it was the whole Xbox 360 and PS3 on that generation, and then from Xbox, which you did too, actually. I think Joe had both. He had PS3 and Xbox 360. We had to pick and choose.
Poor.
Well, like
my parents should have done more.
Like
Work harder for me to have more games.
Well, like at that point, I was working, so therefore I paid for my own Xbox 360. Wow. I still lived at home, so I was like
15 when it came out. I ain't fucking working at 15.
But then from Xbox 360, which towards the end of that generation.
Oh my god, I was 15 when 360 came out. What the hell?
Like at the end of that generation, like you, me, and Joe got big into playing GTA 5 and playing GTA Online. We played a crap ton of that. Like we would stay up legitimately all night, like online with each other, till like the sun was coming up, and we're oh god, okay, it's getting kind of late. We kind of need to go to bed.
Getting late, nah, man, it's early.
It's like the sun's coming up. What time is it? Oh crap! But I think then after that, like when it came to the next generation of consoles, like of the current gen with PS4 and Xbox One, we all three agreed to go PS4 route, which is how I originally ended up with PS4 first, and then later on down the generation line of the current gen, I ended up getting the Xbox One X because of the exclusives that were out for Xbox that I want to play, like especially Halo and the Gears series. And obviously PlayStation was like the primary like, exclusives, like the original PlayStation was Siphon Filter, like those games, and the Uncharted games were exclusive to PlayStation.
Who? The creator of Siphon Filter came out with something new, didn't they?
I don't.
It's not Siphon Filter, but I thought they did a new game.
I don't know.
Okay, keep talking. I'll figure it out.
But I love Siphon Filter back in the day. It's like that's what Siphon Filter games is what led me into playing the Splinter Cell games. After that, because I love the franchise as well. Those were a lot of fun. And then they stopped making the
Days Gone. Days Gone was made by the people that made Siphon Filter.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. I actually need to continue. I need to go back and continue playing Days Gone.
I want to play it too. What's this? Oh, it's PlayStation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it PlayStation exclusive?
Yeah, PlayStation exclusive.
Good. Let me borrow it. I'll give it back to you 4 years from now.
Yeah, still incomplete.
I'm 12% through, John.
I mean, and that's open world, so you'll be easily distracted, just like Red Dead and Spider-Man. You'll never finish it. It's a game you'll never complete.
I love being distracted.
But yeah, and then like also in between those, like I never really had, especially back when I was a kid, like a physical gaming PC. So like the PC games I played, like Half-Life and stuff like that, was whatever the PC that I had could handle. So, but now me being older, I want to eventually get a decent like desktop gaming PC. Right now, when it comes to a gaming PC, I only have my laptop that I stream from and play PC games on as well. But unfortunately, I can't do both at the same time because it's not that powerful enough of a gaming laptop to do so. But I want to get a desktop gaming PC so I can stream PC games and play them at the same time. And yeah, especially playing games like on Steam and stuff like that. I would love to make like let's play of games that I play on those that you can't find on like consoles. Because that's why I'm neutral when it comes to that whole battle between Microsoft and Sony and PC and the way people argue, oh, this is the master race or this is the better console or blah blah blah. Well, I'm just like, dude, I play all of them. It's like I play them all because they all have exclusives that I love. So screw it. I don't care who is what, where,
when, how,
yeah.
why.
I play them all because they all have exclusives specifically for their platforms that I love.
I only play PlayStation.
Even though you used to play Xbox.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, years ago.
The 360 is my favorite game system.
I was lucky enough to never experience the Red Ring of Death.
Me either. But my brother did. What? Looking at.
Cowboys officially placed Ezekiel Elliott on the 53-man roster.
Old news, bro.
Release Alfred Morris.
Yes. That been out.
I don't know. That had just popped up. But yeah.
Is it my turn?
I mean, I just went over like basically like what got me into it and like the different ones that I owned 30 years and whatnot. And that's not even including like handheld gaming systems like the original Game Boy
Yeah, we're not
Game
talking
Boy
about that.
Advance and all that stuff, which I still want to get Nintendo Switch because they have great games on that too, and be good for traveling and stuff.
I only want the Switch for like Pokemon.
I'd do Pokemon, Legend of Zelda,
Probably
Breath of the
some-
Wild,
Yeah, probably
uh,
Mario. I'd do Mario.
the Mario games definitely because I love those. I would love the Super Smash Bros. The game looks like a lot of fun. Oh yeah, yeah.
What's that one?
About the hurricane.
Oh,
Dorian.
Dorian. All those people in Florida waiting for nothing.
Yeah. Even though by now it should be past Florida, I would think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't even really do anything to Florida, from what I heard. I don't know. I don't follow the news. I'm probably wrong.
Same here. But it's like hit straight for Florida. It's like not go around, come back in, hit the upper states instead. But yeah. What about you?
Going into my gaming history.
Yeah.
History.
I mean,
Well, what?
I just touched briefly like on some of the games that were on those platforms.
All right, so. Well, I said I was gonna ignore the Sega Genesis thing, but I'm not. Like, I would play Sonic and stuff.
Oh yeah.
On like the Segas, but I wouldn't really. I would just kind of do it at night. You know, I wasn't really into it.
Sonic, the old Mortal Kombat, Paperboy, all those.
Oh yeah, I remember playing Paperboy with you and your brother.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Lion King game, Tasmanian Devil game, all.
I remember the Tasmanian game with you and your brother too. Yeah, I don't remember. Did we play Lion King together? I don't remember playing Lion King. I think,
I don't know.
but I definitely remember Paperboy.
Oh
and
yeah.
Tasmanian Devil.
I played the crap out of those games.
Yeah. But I wasn't really into gaming like at that point, and then we got a PlayStation 1, or just PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was the gray box, not the actual PS1. And I played NFL Game Day '97 with Moose Johnston, Cowboys fullback.
I actually had a. I think it was
On
on
the cover?
I think it was on PlayStation 1. I actually had like an arena football game as well. I had some football games and sports games on PS1.
I played an arena football game, and I had like a rugby football game on the 360.
Dude.
Point.
It was
I got it for like $10, and it's like shit.
I forgot what the quarterback
I
was.
don't
He was
know
like
how to play.
he was like a big quarterback that was back in the arena football days. Back in that generation of gaming consoles. I don't
Clint Dozale.
know. I know I want him, but I probably know the name if I heard it.
So NFL Game Day '97, and like Crash Bandicoot.
Oh yeah, Crash, Spyro.
Yeah, Spyro. I didn't really play. Joe played it a lot.
I played it a
So-
lot on PlayStation 1.
Yeah. So when I'd go down to Joe's, we'd play Spyro.
Crash Bandicoot, Crash Team Racing, all those.
The first game that I ever beat.
The first and last. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and haven't beaten one since. Yeah, fuck you. Is The Emperor's New Groove. And I brought this up when we did it on the unreleased episode with
Wow.
Joe. But yeah, The Emperor's New Groove on PlayStation 1 was the first game that I ever beat all the way through.
Right. The poison for Cusco. The poison specially designed to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. That poison?
That's not poison!
Got you covered.
Yeah, so that was the first game I ever beat. And then when the Xbox came out, I was Xbox. I was an Xbox guy. And
the original?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original box Xbox, the OG.
Yeah.
And on that one, I played I was getting more into like gaming at that point. And oh, backtracking a little bit, beat Emperor's New Groove. Did not own a memory card. Suck it. Me and my brother played that game
all the way through. Then
all the way through with no memory card.
that was what, PlayStation.
Yeah,
That's one thing I didn't like about the original PlayStations.
having those little stupid memory cards.
I had to go out and buy them.
Yeah, it was awful.
I had like 2 or 3 of them, and then some of them, you had to sit there and decide like games that you don't ever play now, and it's like delete that save data to make a memory slot available in the memory card to it for saved data. It's like, what is
That's
no
why,
longer
like when I
worthy?
went, so then when I upgraded and got the Xbox, that was like the main benefit was the storage inside, like the internal storage. So you didn't need memory cards. And still with PlayStation 2, which was the competition with Xbox, you still needed to buy memory cards.
I think PlayStation 3 started with the internal hard drive.
Yeah.
They got smart by that point. They learned after 2 generations.
I mean, Xbox had a leg up. It was, built and designed by Microsoft, which is a computer company. So,
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, they kind of they had a leg up in that department, but that was kind of the thing. Well, I'm not gonna say that's what like made me go Xbox. Like I think I just chose Xbox because it was the new thing, but I stuck with it.
Yeah.
A big reason because of the internal hard drive. And that's when I kind of got more into video games, and I was playing, like I played Splinter Cell games.
I mean, if you're talking about Xbox, it had to be like Halo and Gears of War at some point.
Yeah. Halo. Well, Gears of War was 360, right? That didn't come out for the original Xbox.
I think it was 360. Yeah, by that
Yeah.
point, the first one, just
Yeah.
like I forgot which Halo was. Wait, no. Halo Combat Evolved was like the release title for the original
Yeah.
Xbox when it released.
Right.
Xbox 360 didn't have an actual physical Halo. Actually, Xbox 360 or Xbox One didn't have a release like Halo alongside the release of the next console. I think they're trying to do it with the next Xbox, like Xbox Scarlet, I think is what they're calling it as of right now. It's rumored to be that the new Halo is going to be like a release title for it. It'll be like the first time they've done it since the original one. The original Halo and the original Xbox.
I've gotten out of Halo since Bungie sold it.
Yeah, it's like 343 Studios.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still fun. I mean, you can still do the Master Chief Collection, which
that one's good. So yeah, it was games like that, Halo, and then Splinter Cell and stuff like that. But I was now, getting into it, playing games and beating them. And then Xbox 360 came out, and along with like the PS3, but I just stuck with Xbox. Decided to go with the 360, which I do not regret because, like I mentioned earlier, it's my favorite console.
Oh yeah.
That I've ever played or whatever.
That's what.
Then it was more Splinter Cell. I kept playing those, although to me it kind of started falling off a little bit. Prince of Persia.
Oh yeah, those were
those games
Prince of Persia, and then it transitioned.
Assassin's Creed.
And then it transitioned. I think Assassin's Creed originated from Prince of Persia with the whole parkour type stuff and climbing buildings and all that fun stuff.
Mirror's Edge was another parkour game. Since you mentioned parkour, that was another one that I had played.
Along with what is that game?
You can do it.
Dying Light.
Those damn dogs.
Dying Light is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Because they Dying Light 2 coming out this upcoming year. I think spring of this year.
Which I'm really excited about, by the way.
Oh yeah. Because that had parkour, first person parkour, just like Mirror's Edge, just in a zombie apocalyptic type world.
And all the while, these are just kind of the games that I was into and playing and stuff. But in the background, my relaxation games are always sports games. Like I've been playing Madden since like Madden 2000. I had NFL Game Day 97, 98, 99.
I had some NBA games as well.
I had the NFL 2K when they were doing that. NBA Live, NBA 2K. I recently, well, not really recently, probably about 5-6 years ago, got into FIFA, which is amazing. The FIFA games are great.
I never really got into soccer games, but yeah.
Man, it's the best. That and the show, MLB The Show, in my opinion, are like the two best sports games. I don't know, the presentation of it, like they're just really, really good. Graphics are good, gameplay solid. Like
I need to go on my PlayStation and get MLB The Show because what you've said about it.
Yeah, it's good. I don't understand baseball like I've told you before, but then the show's kind of helped me learn it some.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's a good game. It's a really well-rounded game. Along with FIFA, I would also play like the Need for Speed games a lot.
Yeah.
When they first came out with Underground, my dude, Underground, bro. What happened? Did it hit something? Fuck it.
You may have. You may have hit your shoes. You may have hit your shoes. That was at the green screen frame right there beside you.
Well, anywho, on PlayStation 2, me and my buddy Cody, he got Need for Speed Underground for Christmas, and
loved Underground.
When he like opened it, basically, we put it in the game system, and we did not stop playing it until we had beaten it by like 2 or 3 o'clock the following morning. That game was legit.
Oh yeah, I love the Need for Speed games. I also played the Midnight Club games too.
Yeah, Midnight Club 3. Oh man.
And like the motocross games and stuff, and the Tony Hawk games, and like the BMX type games. I played like all those extreme sports. Yeah,
and the Tony Hawk stuff. Man, those were the days.
Classics.
I saw a thing on Twitter from The Ringer, and they said like, where does Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 rank among like best video games of all time? And I was like, nowhere near the top. I mean, in its genre, damn good game.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If you talk best video games of all time,
oh yeah,
not near the top. But the soundtracks and
yeah.
Tony Hawk,
I mean, come
my
on,
dude.
I mean,
they were so good.
Oh yeah, and it had like Rage Against the Machine and stuff like that.
Yeah,
too.
That's what turned a lot of people on to Rage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I call them Rage. Just close friends.
Like the Tony Hawk games, you had the early, like the original Papa Roach album, the Infest from that album, and Rage Against the Machine, and I can't remember if it was Tony Hawk or the Dave Mirra games that had like Sublime and stuff like that.
Dave Mirra. Dave Mirra had Sublime.
Like they had all the classic music of that like generation and that genre. What I got.
I said, remember that. Yeah, man, I remember popping fucking tail whips listening to that song.
Backflips, everything.
Oh, God.
Front flips.
Those were the days.
Trying tricks that shouldn't be done, but I'm trying it anyway. Trying to get as much air as possible to do it. I did that on motocross games too, like games that you shouldn't be able to do a backflip with a dirt bike. I still managed to pull off.
Did you play the like the MX vs ATV Unleashed games?
Yep, I had it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Beer makes me burp.
Oh gosh.
But what got me thinking about that, like the Need for Speed, and then kind of leading into all that other stuff, was they had a sale on PlayStation, and I bought Dirt 4.
Right.
And I haven't played Dirt I beat the first Dirt. Beat that one. And then I played Dirt 2, but never beat it, and never played Dirt 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, so Dirt 4, I decided to give it a shot because, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I'm really into rally racing. Like, I don't follow it. I think it's a badass sport.
Oh, that's fun.
And, like, I'll watch it. I don't know any of the drivers. I knew Colin McRae, and then he passed away.
Travis Pastrana also did rally car racing too.
Yeah, and the Gymkhana stuff. Pastrana did that too, but yeah. But I mean, like, I love watching it. I don't follow it, but like, if I'm flipping through one of those obscure channels
or
ESPN, and it's on, I don't think they do it on ESPN.
Well, like with the X Games and stuff,
yeah. With the Gymkhana stuff, but like rally racing, you gotta go, one of these like weird sports channels, like CBS Sports. Guys are never gonna be as good as ESPN. But yeah, then I'll stop and watch it. So when I saw Dirt 4 was on sale, I was like, man, I really loved the first one, and I enjoyed the second one, but never beat it. So screw it. I'm gonna do Dirt 4. It's pretty fun. They've got like stadium truck racing and like dune buggy racing in it as well. I just recently bought dogs. I just recently in the game. Man, I wish it was real life. I just recently bought a Lancer Evo 9.
Oh, which one?
Dirt 4, man.
Oh, nice.
It was $53,000. Or credits, 52,000 credits. But no, so like I just started playing it. Like I just downloaded it and like dabbled in it.
That's what I would do with the Need for Speed games too.
Another Forza Motorsport.
Oh yeah.
But what's the Horizon? Forza Horizon. That's the one I'm thinking of, because they give you like off-road races. Forza Motorsport is strictly like track stuff, but Forza Horizon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those games are insane. You could race like lifted Volkswagen Beetles.
Oh yeah, it gives you
big ass tires. Both BOF.
Yeah, because I've got the last one I had is Forza Horizon 3.
Yeah. A show.
And that was so much fun. Because like you'd go for it would incorporate both street racing and going off road at the same time, which sometimes doing Mustang, Chargers, Challengers, stuff like that, not the greatest idea when you got to go off road on the part of the course, because that's a royal pain in the ass to try to maintain control of. And the handling and control of the vehicles are all different for each vehicle too. But
yeah, the racing games like that I really enjoy. Doing that off-road stuff, the kind of the rally racing, the drifting, sliding around, you're driving on like gravel terrain, man.
Oh yeah. One game I actually had, I think it was for the original PlayStation, was actually, believe it or not, a NASCAR game as well. That was actually a lot of fun. The competition aspect of actually trying to win the race, even though it's not like a course like the Horizon series of Forza, but yeah, it was still a lot of fun. Even though you're driving in a circle, it's just a competitive aspect of trying to win and outdo the other drivers. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, might have been 2006. It was called NASCAR Chase for the Cup, and you played in like it was like 3 or 4 different divisions of NASCAR, and you kind of like worked your way up. But you did like the little, I don't even know what they're called, but it was this weird little like go-kart buggy looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
You would race in that at first, and then you'd get to the truck series, and then to the what used to be like the Busch series or whatever. I don't follow NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like the lower class of cars, and then you were in like the top NASCAR. But you would race through like all of them, and then like as you went through your career, you could choose to like if you moved up to the Truck Series, which at that point was called like the Craftsman Truck Series or something.
Yeah.
You could choose to stop doing the little go-kart races, or you could do both of them. And then as you went up, you still had the option to stop doing the lower ones. But I was so into that game that I would do all 4 series, all season long, and it was a shit ton of races. And me and my buddy Travis, rest in peace, big dog. But me and my buddy Travis,
Yeah.
who tragically passed away. We would play NASCAR. I think it was 2006. NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I mean, just non-stop. So much fun. Don't understand NASCAR at all, but love the game.
Like I said, basically it's picking a driver. Oh, I thought you grabbed the one you didn't like. I was gonna say.
I hope not. That'd be bad news bears.
Picking a driver that you like and just basically sticking with them, and just the competition aspect of it, really, with NASCAR. Trying to be the best of the best. Or like the Talladega Nights aspect, the movie. Can't have 2 number 1s.
No, you can't. That makes 11.
Shake and bake. Magic Man. Now you see me? Now you don't. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, you're just mad because you didn't come up with it. Yeah, you're right. It's pretty damn good. Oh, man.
John, you want to play some Human Fall Flat?
Yeah.
Let's do it. So this is winding down. John and I have discussed doing a John Wick podcast. The third movie comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, I think Tuesday.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
And we're still wanting to do Star Wars.
Yep, we're still gonna do a Star Wars
episodes.
one. But both of us own John Wick's 1 and 2. I'm gonna buy 3 to complete my collection. I'm not sure what John's gonna do, if he's gonna.
Oh yeah.
You gonna buy a physical copy?
Oh
That's
yeah.
the way you gotta do it, man. So I'm gonna be doing that Tuesday, when it comes out, and then hopefully, no promises, because I break promises. But I think, I don't want to speak for John here, but I think this was what we had kind of thought to do. Maybe next week, talking about John Wick, and it'll kind of be the first podcast where we really dive into movies.
Well, yeah, kind of, sort of, but I mean, we did like dive into like Marvel, Spider-Man, and whatnot.
Oh right, yeah, we did.
And we briefly touched on
But this, like, my thinking is, maybe do some banter to begin with, but then like really dive into it. So it's gonna be like strictly John Wick.
Yeah.
And we'll go through 1, 2, and 3.
Fan for Gamers says digital copies take anywhere, play them anywhere. I do actually redeem.
That's right.
Digital copies for the movies too, so I can do exactly that and leave my originals at home.
Physical copies just look cool. All right, it's the aesthetics.
It's the aesthetics.
I like looking up at my shelf and seeing a complete, movie set.
Yeah.
And plus, like when you buy Blu-ray, like it comes with the, like the digital download and all that stuff anyway, so you get all of it. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like, because I mean, currently I can look up and see every Star Wars movie on my shelf, and it makes me happy. I look up and I see all the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings, and it makes me happy.
Oh yeah.
I look up and I say Spider-Man. I only
I'll say apparently not all of them.
No, I don't own all of them. because I have serious issues with them and I can't own them. Like Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire.
Oh yeah,
I'm just not a fan. The Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, it was okay, wasn't great. I really have no excuse. Well, now I do actually. I don't want to own the Tom Holland ones because they're taking them out of the MCU. So fuck them.
I do because I love the Tom Holland ones.
Fuck them.
But like I'm gonna get the Far From Home when it comes out, when it's released. Because actually both of us saw it in theaters, so I loved it. It was a great movie.
Which versions of Spider-Man? Which versions what? Which versions are our favorite? Which versions are virgins? All of them.
I'd have
See
to
how
say
nervous Toby got when he was trying to talk to Mary Jane? I would too, though.
when it comes to the Peter Parker aspect in Spider-Man, just the character as a whole, did you own? That's more or less.
Oh yeah, well I actually I own Spider-Man 1 and 2 of Tobey Maguire. I don't own any of the Amazing Spider-Mans, and I don't own any of the and I own what? No, I don't. Nope.
Well,
so just Spider-Man 1 and 2. That's it.
You don't even have it.
I was going to own Into the Spider-Verse.
That's what I was about to
but
say.
it got put on Netflix. But I was going to get it, and then when it was on Netflix, I was like, nah, I won't get it until it gets taken off Netflix. But I've seen it since being on Netflix. I mean,
countless times.
Yeah, I think 15 is probably a fair number. And I watch it with my daughters a lot. So,
who did the best?
Who's your best Spider-Man? This is an easy one.
For me, it's Tom Holland.
Exactly, it's Tom Holland.
Just Peter Parker as a character and the Spider-Man character, like, well, not so much going Tony Stark route with the suit and whatnot, but like the web shooters and everything, and Peter Parker as a whole, it's like that's more accurate.
Yeah,
it was the only thing that bugged me about the Tobey Maguire ones was he shot the webs directly through his wrist. It was like, it's not accurate. That kind of irked me with those, but I kind of looked past it.
Yeah, it's like he was a spider.
Yeah. Whereas, like, in the comics and cartoons, like, he created the web shooters. That's why, like, the Amazing Spider-Man, it started going that route where it was more accurate, and then I think Tom Holland's one kind of nailed it on the head.
Yeah, I rank well, everything about Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite. I'm a big fan of Miles Morales as Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. I wish he's in the game as well.
Spoilers. And but as far as like Peter Parker goes with the movies and stuff, Tom Holland is my favorite, and then Tobey Maguire. I mean, I get what John is saying, and that was a little like whatever.
I mean, he's always Spider-Man's always been my favorite one, so it's like it irked me because of how big I've always been into Spider-Man. So like that detail of it kind of bugged me, but it may have just been me.
But Toby was my second favorite, and he's not too far behind Tom Holland. And then Andrew Garfield, just I don't know. I was really excited about those movies when they were coming out. Like I liked the whole Gwen Stacy storyline with Peter Parker and her death and everything. So I was excited about that.
Yeah.
When I knew that she was going to be a part of that reboot of Spider-Man, but overall, I didn't like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. I didn't like the movies.
The message? It was an inappropriate message that didn't need to be.
Rude.
Yeah.
Think of Tom. I liked Tom Hardy as Venom. I thought that was good. I wasn't a huge fan of the movie. And interested to see what they do next, since they kind of introduced Carnage.
Oh yeah.
At the end of Venom, but but it's Tom Hardy being Venom.
It's more. It matches more than that was another thing that irked me with Tobey Maguire one was the
Eddie
third
Brock.
one.
Yeah.
He was like Eddie Brock was a skinny photographer in that one versus a kind of more bulky, like buffed up, like jockey football kind of looking guy, like Tom Hardy was in the Venom one, which is kind of more accurate to the depiction of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So overall, and I know that Tom Hardy, well, last I had read is he wants to do another one. I don't want to say. I don't know for sure if I read that they were like in the works of doing another one for sure. But I don't want to say that. They might be. I don't know. I feel like I read that, but I might be wrong.
It's rumored, but yeah. It's
but yeah,
very possible.
Him playing the character, Eddie Brock in Venom, I was a big fan of it. But I'm kind of biased. I'm a pretty big fan of Tom Hardy, so so that worked for me. But all right. So,
fan for gamers that asked it. What?
Luke D 555. What is that? These contacts are useless.
Luke 555.
Yeah. All right.
Same.
So
all right. So for anybody who watches the podcast live, if it's your first time here, what we do with the podcast when we live stream it is we are currently doing now, recording the episode, and then we sign off for the podcast. So we end the recording afterwards, and then we transition back over just the regular stream where we transition over to playing video games, which is what we're about to do in a few minutes. And then we just carry on with the rest of the stream from there. And then we'll go back and upload the podcast episode here on Twitch and on YouTube. It usually goes...
Fam. Isn't it fam? Does it say fam?
Yeah.
Fam for gamers? Agreed.
Big fan of Tom Hardy. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Lawless? Jesus, what a good movie. And it's based in Franklin County, which is not far from where we live.
Need more Mad Max.
Yeah, Mad Max was great. I want to play the Mad Max video game.
I have not played that.
I haven't either, but I heard it was decent. Heard it was not terrible. Just all I need. Okay, continue, John.
But, what was I saying?
I don't know. Just about.
But yeah,
switching over to gaming, streaming.
But yeah, after we sign off for the podcast, we transition over to video games for the rest of the stream, and then we go there, upload it to here on Twitch and on YouTube. It usually ends up on YouTube first because YouTube is faster at uploading and processing the video than Twitch does. Twitch takes a whole lot longer to process the video. So it is usually up by a lot later, the same day or the next day it's up on Twitch. So usually it's up on YouTube first. Because I put them up on the same time. Like, I'll start upload them at the same time. So YouTube is always done first. It completes it and processes it and available for upload to publish it live before Twitch ever is, for some reason. I guess that's just something with Twitch's algorithm. It takes it longer to process, but that's how we do. And we have a logo currently being worked on for the podcast. So the Twitter page is coming soon.
The logo is done for the thumbnail. And then
the banner.
Yeah, we need to do a banner thing, which is currently in the works.
Which will be used for Twitter and YouTube.
But shout out to my buddy Dion Brinkley. He's helping us out with that. And hopefully we can get that up
And then I will also be
See.
adding it to the previous ones, the episodes, to that YouTube channel as well. But I've been holding off on doing those two just because of trying to complete that stuff first, so that it has a banner and logo first. And if you all read the description, here on Twitch and on YouTube, on the videos of the podcast, we do link the links to both of our Twitters and Twitch page here. Well, channel, not page, but yeah, but the Twitter pages as well. But and as we're signing out, we also we also give our links at the end of the podcast episode, each episode as well. But I think that'll about wrap it up for this episode of the episode 4 podcast. Episode 4 of the podcast. My God, I need more sleep. But we will sign off, and then we will transition over to playing. I think Nathan wants to play some more Human Fall Flat. So we'll transition over to that. Oh my God. All right.
We're going to transition over to Human Fall Flat, which is a really fun, simple game where teamwork is not needed, but is useful.
And you can also just throw each other off the edge.
Yes. And it's kind of like ragdoll physics, which I always love.
Yes.
It creates a lot of good moments.
Have an awesome one, guys. Thanks, fam. Appreciate it.
Fam.
Thanks for joining in.
I mean, the podcast is coming to an end, but we're going to stay on for Human Fall Flat if you want to check it out.
The stream will keep going, but the podcast episode is coming. This episode is coming to an end.
We're not going anywhere. So sit down!
Alright, but
did you so you mentioned like the YouTube and Twitter page
for the podcast?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're gonna do a YouTube page, a Twitter page.
Yes.
Instagram page?
I mean, if you want to do an Instagram one,
we can do an Instagram page.
Need to care of some honeydews.
Sam is a good listener.
I understand that, man.
He's sitting. What?
Deuce. Dang phone.
Phobe. That thing's really getting the best of you.
Autocorrect at its worst. Or best, I should say.
And no one asked, but I am drinking the Truth, which is an IPA from Flying Dog. I like to do that when I drink a craft beer. I like to show what it is. Earlier, I had Wicked Weed. It's a beer.
Import.
For the love of God. Although it's legal in a lot of states. Yeah, some Wicked Weed, peach, beer, shit. Gross. I mean, if you like sours, then you'll probably like it. I don't even know if it is a sour. Or maybe the beer just tasted sour. I didn't like it.
Oh, yeah. The reaction was priceless. Fat finger the hell out of this thing. That's great.
Gotta get away from those blackberries.
I used to have a blackberry back in the day.
Me too, and I had that issue. My fingers were too freaking fat.
That's one of the reasons I got rid of the blackberry.
Couldn't stand it.
Buttons were so small.
Man, rest in peace, blackberry. Jeez.
They're still around, aren't they?
I don't know, but who the fuck has a blackberry? I want to get a freaking Note 10 so bad.
God,
but it's too expensive. I can't do it. I've been trying to talk to Sprint to cut me a little deal, but they're like, no.
Good luck with that. Which one do you go to?
Wardrobe.
Okay, so you don't go to the one on
Nope. I
Old
only go
Forest
to
Road area.
No. Yeah, I only do Wardrobe.
Six.
But I even talked to like a customer service rep online, and she basically just gave me like cookie cutter answers, and I was just like, all right, fuck off.
I guess it also depends on your contract and whatnot. Or
Yeah, they only give you deals if you're a new customer, which is crazy. I was with Intellos for several years, and then Sprint bought Intellos. And so I've been with Sprint for like however long ago that was, like 3-4 years, whatever that was when they bought Intellos.
something like
But
that.
I've been a customer long time. Had this number for a long time. And I can only get a deal on a new phone if I activate a new line, which to me would mean just get a new number. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So it's retarded. But anyway, yeah. So we're gonna play some Human Fall Flat. I'm gonna finish this beer. Do the plugins.
Yeah.
All right. Follow me on Twitter at Infamous Wannabe. That's the letter N, the word famous, the word one, as in the number, and then UHB at Infamous Wannabe. John's got the links and everything to it as well. So if you check out, I guess one of the other
Uploads,
podcasts that we've done on YouTube and stuff, you'll see the link. But
Love them deals.
absolutely, man. Sprint will give you a 50% off deal if you're a new customer, and will not look out for you if you're an existing customer. Love them. They're great. I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
So follow me on Twitter. I tweet a lot about sports and
Your
video
babies?
games, and pretty much my Instagram is nothing but my babies. But,
Every now and then your
but
Twitter
yes,
or
from time to time, I'll put them on the tweeter.
on a tweeter.
But yeah. Also, Facebook, whatever. I don't know how I'm not, super into Facebook, but however you would find me on that, do it.
I don't really use Facebook as much either. So
If you need my name, it's Nathan Ragland. I don't know how to find people on Facebook.
I don't know. There's a lot of different ways. So yeah.
I just know how to tweet her. I'm pretty good at it. I've got like 12,000 tweets, man. All right, but that's me. John's turn.
All right. And you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch, also YouTube, at Musician Gamers 76. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm a part-time variety streamer. And then, obviously, we stream on the weekends, too, when we live stream the podcast, as we are doing now. And then we upload the video of the podcast afterwards, after the stream. But we do like to play a wide variety of games. Everyone is welcomed. Obviously, when it comes to chat, just keep it appropriate. Like, I had to time out somebody.
Unlike Luke,
Well, I wasn't dropping names, but yeah, like
well, he's a bastard.
where I have to time somebody
I
out
don't
and
even
it
know what he
deletes
said.
the message and whatnot. Just kind of give them the hint. You got to be appropriate before I ban you. Like, kind of give you the warning, heads up, hey, knock it off. But everyone is welcome. Just keep it appropriate and have fun and have a good time. But it will probably the next podcast will probably be what? Are you able to do it Sunday? Next Sunday?
Saturday.
Well, actually, no. If we do it earlier in the day, like today, I could probably do Saturday.
All right, well, man, figure it out.
Well, I mean, next Saturday's friend's birthday. That's what I'm asking.
We can do Sunday. Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah.
rush or whatever to get anything. So we'll do Sunday.
I'll see what's going on Saturdays. So that podcast will probably be on Sunday next weekend.
Now from that point on, it'd be best to do it Saturdays because basketball is gonna pick back up for me the Sunday after next weekend. Yeah, like the 23rd.
Hey, what'd you say? Football or basketball?
Basketball.
Oh,
If I said football, then my bad. But basketball.
what the hey? Straight Luke.
Oh, what the heck?
What the heck?
What the heck, guy?
All right, but for everybody that's watching this live, if you want to stick around while we play some video games, you're more than welcome to. for everyone else who sees this after the fact, we greatly appreciate you checking out the podcast and hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that follow button if you're watching it on Twitch, so you guys come check out more podcast episodes. And if you're watching it on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you'll know next time we uploaded an episode of the podcast, or anytime I upload videos myself. But again, thank you all for hanging out this evening on the podcast. We greatly appreciate it, and we will see you all next weekend for the next episode 5 of the Try Hard Entertainment Podcast. Thank you all. Thank you all, and have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.